Hey everybody, and welcome back to Autumn Leigh at Home. Today we are going to do a large Sam's Haul run. It is 7 days post Hurricane Helene hitting the upstate, and everybody lost everything in their freezers and fridges because the power went out for a long time. Now, thankfully, we did not. We were able to just eat through a lot of what we had, but because we did that, we also need to do a Sam's Haul run and restock on a lot of things that we have. I've heard it's very picked through. A lot of people in the area still don't have power, but we are going to see what they have and go from there. Right after the storm, just like many people, we kind of hunkered down and didn't go anywhere because all of the roads were completely blocked and impassable. And over time that got better, but that was mainly just for primary roads. Secondary roads were still blocked. So really we just kind of stayed at the house, and I cooked and baked a lot, both for myself and for others, because it was hard to find certain items at the store, which I will post that video at the end if you want to know kind of a more detailed description of what it was like. But here our area is just trying to get reset. All of the food that was in the freezers and fridges went bad, both in the stores and at people's homes. So really everybody's just trying to play catch up. And this is 7 days out. Many of the bigger chain stores like Sam's, Costco, all of those were able to play catch up a lot faster and easier than the smaller stores. I'm recording this voiceover 12 days out from the storm, and I can tell you there are still some grocery stores that are completely empty in the freezer sections, whereas other ones are almost back to normal, and it's very hit or miss. So on this day in particular, 7 days out, it was very hit or miss. We got very lucky that I happened to be there when they were bringing the butter and the milk out, because most other grocery stores on this day didn't have any of those items. And you can tell all of the canned goods were really picked through, because typically when you go to Sam's, you will see all of that built up. Now, obviously it's still there, which we are grateful for. A lot of what you see being gone was people eating it as well as buying it for donations for North Carolina, since we are so close. The area that got hit the hardest is about an hour away from us. So a lot of people in this area tried to shop and buy items for them as well. They still have a lot of items we use, just maybe not the normal size. I tried to normally get 10-pound bag of sugar, and that just wasn't an option today. So I went with what was available, but it will get eaten, so it's not a big deal. I did find it very curious that the vanilla extract was almost $10 for that tiny little bottle, and you can make your own. I have made my own for a lot less than that, and it turns out fantastic. So I found that very interesting. But the water pallet here that you're looking at, that was completely full when we first got there. They had just put out those full pallets, and that was at 2:30 p.m. By the time I left and went back to try to just make sure that they hadn't gotten toilet paper and paper towels, it was already almost completely gone on those pallets in the front. A few days before this, the lines were wrapped to the back of the store, so I was very happy to see that the lines were also getting back to normal. We were able to get all of our groceries in and into the car and on our way. I'm finished. It wasn't near as bad as I expected it to be. I totally thought there were going to be super long lines. Thankfully, there was pretty much no line at all. Everything was pretty picked through, but you could tell that it's starting to get back to normal. The store is doing a great job of working really hard and replenishing all of the dairy items as well as freezer items. It definitely is still very sparse in the cold section. There weren't things like eggs or and this was the first place that I've been able to find milk and butter, and they were literally loading it off as I think they had just gotten a shipment in as we were there. So I was very grateful for that, because I'm pretty sure by the time I left it was already gone. The water, there was a section of water that had just arrived, like pallets of it, when we first got there at 2:30, and by the time I went back just to double check that they hadn't gotten a shipment of toilet paper too, the water was pretty much half the water off the pallets was gone, and the pallets in the front were completely wiped out and cleared of water. They were all gone. There still weren't any toilet paper or paper towels, so I'm still on the lookout for those, but we are good right now. I think I'm just trying to make sure that we don't run out before I can find any more. I want to go ahead and try to find some so that we don't have to panic later on. Ultimately, I was very pleasantly surprised. The staff, you can tell, we're super tired. They're working really hard. I'm very grateful for them. And ultimately they were being very kind and trying to help. So Keep up the great work, guys. We are all very truly grateful, and thankfully it wasn't near as bad as I expected it to be. It looks like things are kind of on the mend and everybody is hopefully going to start getting back into the swing of things. I'm hoping the strike that's going on isn't going to play a huge role in us finding toilet paper and paper towels for much longer. We will see. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. We'll just take one day at a time. Right now, everybody's recovering from Hurricane Helene and we are getting back on our feet, and I'm very grateful for that. So we're gonna head home. I do have one stop that I'm going to make before I get there, and then I will show you everything that we got. So I decided to stop by one other place. I ended up stopping at Walmart on the way home because Sam's didn't have toilet paper or paper towels, and I just didn't want to get to the point where we were critical at our household and desperately needed it. So thankfully they had plenty. They had a few selections and we were able to get some. Yay! While I was there, I went ahead and took a quick video of the bread aisle. It is completely bone dry, which is why I've been baking so much lately. All the baked goods for myself and for others, just because there is nothing else available. And once we checked out, we were able to go ahead and put our stuff in the car and head home. Hey guys, we are back home, and we ended up stopping. I stopped at Sam's, and then I took one more stop and then ended up stopping at Walmart because Sam's didn't have the items that I needed. I still needed some eggs. I wasn't able to find that there, as well as toilet paper and paper towels. Sam's had absolutely none of that. So I stopped at Walmart on the way home thinking, okay, maybe I can run in here and see what they have. And thankfully I was able to find all of those items. It may not be the brand name that I normally use. However, we love Bounty. They actually had a good bit of Bounty paper towels, which was great. And I have to say though that I love Members Mark paper towels just as much as I do Bounty. Once Sam's gets their Members Mark paper towels back in, I totally have been enjoying those. They have been fantastic. To be honest, they're very similar to Bounty. So we will switch back to that once they get them in because they're cheaper. However, they had paper towels. That's all that matters, is that we were able to find paper towels, which is great. Toilet paper. I have never used Angel Soft before. This is going to be a first for me. So if you guys are an Angel Soft person, you can let me know your thoughts on it. But we normally do Charmin. They did have Charmin at Walmart. However, it was the 4-pack, like only 4 toilet paper rolls. And that was, we would go through that in a day or in a couple of days. With 6 people in this house, somehow we go through a lot of toilet paper. So I'm grateful that they had plenty of toilet paper. They had other selections as well. And right now, those things are really hard to find. It's like we're back during past time where we have to fight for toilet paper again, which is crazy. It's just crazy. But ultimately, I will go ahead and get started and go over some of the things that we got. Many of the things that we got, we had just run out of before the hurricane even hit. It was past due for us to do a Sam's haul. Part of me is glad that I didn't before the hurricane came, mainly because if I had, would have run the risk of losing all of our meat. And obviously that would have been a huge blow because meat and all these other items are very expensive, especially meat, especially ground beef. This 1 10-pound thing of ground beef was $45, I think, which is a very high price to have to lose, especially when you're, you know, already dealing with inflation. So ultimately, we got a lot of our stuff that we normally get that we just ran out of before the hurricane hit, and we're able to restock it. And that cereal, one of our favorite, is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. We have been having a very hard time finding milk, and they happen to have it. They only had, I think it's 2%. They only had 2%, which, not complaining. We were able to find milk. It means I don't have to do powdered milk, which is what I was gonna go to next if I couldn't find any. And so I went ahead and got 2. I will put 1 probably in the freezer just to make sure it doesn't go bad before we can use it. And I've never actually bought Sam's milk, Sam's Club milk. I'm assuming it tastes like every other milk, but we will put 1 in the fridge and 1 in the freezer. That way we can save it. Rice, I have used up all of our rice. That was one of our go-tos while we were, you know, low on power, but also just an easy meal while we couldn't go shopping or out to eat. So after Hurricane Helene hit, Am I saying that right? After Hurricane Helene hit, we tried to hunker down for the most part, mainly because we were just out of touch with everybody else. And I didn't want to risk putting my kids, my husband had to go to work. And so I was mainly here with the kids by myself. And ultimately, I didn't want to risk putting them in the car and getting in a wreck or something. It was just safer for me to stay home. And so we used a lot of rice up. I needed to replenish that. And instant rice was a huge go-to during that time because it's an easy meal that all of my kids love. We made chicken, I think chicken fried rice, and homemade shrimp sauce, or yum yum sauce, some people call it. So that was an easy go-to that all my kids loved. Bread flour. This is a first for Sam's in our area. They have never actually held on to or sold this kind of flour. It's here, I'll show you better. This is the bread flour that the Sam's in our area started selling. This is a first for them. They've never actually carried this brand that I've seen at the branch that we go to in our area. There is another Sam's that's a little bit further away that I have been going to get our 25-pound bags of flour. And this was the first though. I've never tried the unbleached bread flour for this one, but I'm pretty sure I can use this, and it's good for sourdough as well. So I'm gonna try it, see how it goes. It's a much smaller bag than the 25-pound bag that I normally get, but we are out of bread flour because I was baking 1 to 2 loaves of bread a day for myself as well as other people that ran out of food or ran out of bread. And we went through a lot of it. So I definitely needed to replenish. So this will get us through for a little bit, and I will go back and look for more bread flour. But for now, I know a lot of people that use this brand, and I was excited to see it at Sam's and see if we like it and how it works. Under here are our paper plates, our handy dandy paper plates. We didn't use a lot of these while we were stuck here. I ended up actually doing a lot of dishes. So it's nice to have these again. It's nice to be able to use paper plates so I don't have to do quite as many dishes. Our eggs. These were very hard to find. Sam's Club didn't have them. I tried another store earlier in the week. They didn't have them. I was able to find them at Walmart, and they actually had quite a bit. So that was a big win, as well as our chicken and meat. Again, we just needed to replenish. We thankfully didn't lose our meats out of our freezer, but we ate through them because we were eating 3 meals a day for about a week here at the house. And I just needed to restock, and this should last us for a few weeks in the freezer. And so we shouldn't have to, or maybe even longer than that. Usually this would probably last us about a month, depending on which meals we do. And we do it in rotation. So I may not cook one of these every meal. And once the kids are back in school, really it's just dinners that I'm cooking. So again, going from 3 meals a day here at home, cooking every meal, to only cooking dinners, it will last us a lot longer. Here are the trash bags. Members Mark were low on different varieties of trash bags, but ultimately I don't really care which variety. I know we've tried, and we've talked about this in the past, where I went from Hefty to Members Mark. So much more happy with the Members Mark trash bags. They are definitely by far a lot better than the Hefty brand. We were tearing through and ripping through every single bag that we pulled out of the trash can. These, we have not ripped one bag yet. Now, I don't know what the difference is between this one and another one that was a darker blue box. I was trying to figure it out. Both said 13 gallon. I think the only thing different was the fresh clean, which I don't know if that makes a big difference. So I guess we'll find out. Here are the pull-ups that I got my daughter. Those are kind of a given. They're self-explanatory. I have a daughter that is currently trying to potty train, but it is not going well. So we loaded back up on pull-ups. Thankfully, we didn't run out during the hurricane, but we did get kind of low. So I was grateful to find these and be able to get them. We are completely out of sliced cheese. And again, dairy products are hard to come by. They were loading these items off the truck and into the freezers as we were all standing there waiting very graciously for them. So another dairy item that I was able to restock, peanut butter. We ran through our peanut butter. Our kids like peanut butter. And again, that was an easy meal during the whole shut-in where we stayed here for a long period of time. Butter is a very hot commodity right now. Milk, butter, cheese, any of the dairy items, eggs too, even though it's not dairy, all of those items, because all the freezers went bad, they're having to restock them. So everybody is just, you know, everybody lost all of their stuff in their home freezers. The stores lost everything in their freezers, and now they're having to restock them so that our people in our area can get them. So very grateful that we were able to find butter. This was again another item. They were loading off the trailer as we were standing there, and a lot of people scooped them right up, which now I can bake again. We did a lot of baking. I don't know if I would consider it stress baking, maybe, when you're stuck here with 4 kids. That I love my kids, and we had a lot of fun together. I will say it was really nice getting to have no distractions from them. There were no opportunities to look at any screens, and that was a really, you know, we really enjoyed that. It was really sweet time that we got to spend playing games with each other, playing cards, and I baked a lot because we needed waffles, pancakes, cookies, bread, all the items that you would typically buy from the store, which we still currently can't get. Walmart, I checked the aisles just because I was walking past it, and every single bread item is completely gone. So learn how to make a very simple bread, and I will put Becky from Acre Homestead has a wonderful recipe that's only 4 ingredients. I will put it in the description, but that was a huge game changer for us as well as other people. We were able to gift that to other people that were also struggling to find bread, and it's been fantastic because you can use it for sandwiches. But because of all of that, we went through a lot of flour, went through a lot of ingredients, and now we're having to restock. So we were able to get butter, tomato sauce. I recently canned my own tomato sauce. It turned out good. I think that I would want to maybe try a different recipe next time. I do like it. It is functional for what we need it to, but I feel like there's maybe a little bit better of a recipe that we may like a little more later on, that I would just, next time I go to can my own tomatoes, I kind of want to try something new and see if we like it more. And you never know, sometimes you like things more, sometimes you end up hating it. So we'll just go from there. But until then, until I try a new recipe next year, I will use up what we have here that's home canned. However, we will run through that very quickly. So I went ahead and bought some tomato sauce as well. And I know I like this brand. I know it's the Members Mark brand, but we use it all the time. All we do with it, we use it for all kinds of stuff. I add Italian seasoning, garlic, salt, Parmesan to it, and it tastes great once you doctor it up a little bit. So we can utilize it for all kinds of stuff, like pizza. We make a lot of homemade pizzas with homemade dough, pizza dough, and a lot of pizzas from scratch. We also do that a lot for meal prepping with English muffins, making homemade pizzas. We just use it for all kinds of stuff. I use it in soups sometimes, as well as anytime. I'm trying to think of other things that, I guess that's about it. I use it for a lot. I know we put it on ravioli as well. I have some in the freezer that I plan to make this weekend for the kids, but we use tomato sauce a lot. I just use it and kind of recreate it in different ways with different ingredients, and we enjoy it. And then down here is our Gain. We are completely out of the Gain pods. However, we were able to find just Gain liquid, and that's not really hard to find right now. I ended up buying that in hopes to go to Sam's last week. It was my plan. Obviously, my plans changed, and you just roll with it. So we were able to find liquid Gain, and that's been working just fine. But we do like the pods just because they are simple. You can maximize with older kids, say only 2, no more than that. Liquid's a little bit harder for them to judge. So that's one of the reasons we use this. I did get a 25-pound bag of sugar. We are completely out of sugar, and we go through it a lot. We use it a lot with, again, all the different recipes. I do cook a lot with honey as well, but we have plenty of honey. This is our 25-pound bag of sugar. Sugar is something that we go through a lot, and we definitely needed to restock. Sam's Club was completely out of the 10-pound bags of sugar, which is what we normally buy. However, because we use it so much, I just went ahead and decided to get the 25-pound bag, which I don't typically get. However, This is the 25-pound bag of sugar. I don't typically get a 25-pound bag of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. We normally get the 10-pound bag, but because Sam's was completely out of the 10-pound bag, I just went ahead and decided, you know what, we're gonna use it. It will get used because we cook and bake so much and cook a lot from scratch. So I went ahead and splurged, got this one. It should last us for a while. I don't think I've ever actually used this brand though. I don't know if that makes a big difference, but I'm not worried about it. Normally we just get the Members Mark brand, so it's not anything fancy. And we will see. I need to find a container to put this in because again, I don't normally get this much. And I need to find somewhere to store it where it will stay safe and not go bad. But that's that one. Again, we have never used this brand before. I haven't, my husband may have, but Angel Soft, I've just never used it. We're gonna try it. I was grateful that they just had toilet paper, so we are good. Again, this is not stockpiling. Normally I get 2 to 3 packs about this size and it lasts us 2 to 3 months, which is how often we go to get bulk items. I'm grateful that they had it. We are able to utilize it and it will get used plenty here. I do want to take this time to say thank you so much for joining me here today at Autumn Leigh at Home. I know that it's been kind of wonky, it's been kind of crazy, my timing for, normally I do videos I upload them every Friday at 5 o'clock. Obviously last week that didn't happen. I do have a video pending that never uploaded because we lost power and because we got hit by a hurricane. So I will post one next week, or starting this week. When you guys see this, I will start posting at 5 o'clock again, and moving forward, I will be back to the normal routine of every Friday at 5 o'clock. But please like, subscribe, and share, and I hope to see you guys next time.